In today's video, we're looking at the last footage of people eaten alive by animals, from a wildlife park supervisor's fatal encounter with lions to a dive videographer's deadly meeting with a bull shark in murky waters. But first, we start in Texas's storm-battered terrain, where recent flooding had displaced dangerous creatures into deadly new hunting grounds. It was July 18, 2015, when the Trinity River floodplain in Texas became the scene of a deadly encounter. The recent flooding had transformed the landscape, creating new channels and expanding the territory where American alligators could hunt. The muddy banks were littered with debris, and the water moved with a deceptive calm that masked the dangers lurking beneath the surface. Fallen trees created natural blinds, where predators could remain completely hidden from unsuspecting visitors. The flooding had displaced the alligators' usual prey and expanded their hunting range, increasing the likelihood of unexpected human encounters in unfamiliar territory. Water levels remained elevated, creating perfect conditions for ambush attacks. Lawson Krell, a 41-year-old freelance wildlife videographer, had built his reputation on capturing reptiles in their natural habitat. Known for his close-range filming techniques and minimal use of safety barriers, Krell specialized in documenting behavior that other photographers wouldn't dare attempt. He had arrived at the Trinity River specifically to film post-flood alligator activity, aware that the expanded waterways had drawn these apex predators into new feeding territories. His previous work included dangerous encounters with venomous snakes and large crocodilians, experiences that had perhaps given him false confidence in his ability to read dangerous situations. Krell had been monitoring activity in a known basking and feeding area for several hours, noting its hunting patterns and territorial behavior. The animal showed increased movement and reduced avoidance of human activity, a common effect of flooding that forces alligators into unfamiliar areas where they must re-establish their routines and boundaries. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the water as Krell positioned his chest-mounted action camera. The river current had slowed from its earlier torrent, creating what appeared to be ideal filming conditions. Several feet offshore, an adult American alligator remained completely submerged, its body aligned parallel to the shoreline where Krell stood. The animal's eyes and nostrils were barely visible above the waterline, a hunting position perfected over millions of years of evolution. American alligators are among North America's most formidable predators, capable of explosive bursts of speed, both in water and on land. These ancient reptiles can surge laterally and forward from concealment with explosive force, using powerful tail-driven thrusts to close short distances in fractions of a second. Their bite force can exceed 2,000 pounds per square inch at the back of the jaw, under laboratory measurements. And once they secure a grip, their instinct is to drag prey into deeper water, where they can perform their signature death roll. Large adult males can reach lengths of 11 to 12 feet, and weigh between 700 and 900 pounds, making them virtually unstoppable once they commit to an attack. Krell made a fatal miscalculation as he stood at the water's edge during peak feeding hours. He assumed the shallow depth would limit the alligator's strike range, not realizing that these predators are perfectly adapted to hunt from seemingly impossible positions. The murky water concealed the animal's exact location and body positioning, while the recent flooding had brought both predator and potential prey into closer proximity than either would typically encounter. His positioning directly in the strike zone violated every safety protocol for wildlife filming. Without warning, the alligator surged forward in a powerful tail-driven burst from the shallows, covering the short distance in a fraction of a second. Its massive jaws clamped down on Krell's lower leg with bone-crushing force, the conical, interlocking teeth penetrating deep into muscle and bone. The sudden impact and overwhelming power pulled him off balance, sending him crashing into the muddy water. The alligator maintained its devastating grip and dragged its victim toward deeper water, adjusting its hold with mechanical precision. As the water depth increased, the animal began a controlled rolling maneuver, using its body weight and rotational force to disorient and weaken its prey. Each revolution drove them further from shore and deeper underwater, while the alligator's grip remained absolutely secure. The rolling motion served to overwhelm and incapacitate the victim, preventing any coordinated escape attempt. The alligator held Krell submerged for extended periods between rotations. According to the subsequent investigation, death occurred rapidly due to drowning compounded by severe traumatic injury from the initial bite and subsequent attack. The combination of crushing bite force, submersion, and the physical trauma of being rolled repeatedly proved unsurvivable. The alligator abandoned the body after prolonged submersion, likely disturbed by environmental changes or nearby activity, allowing it to drift downstream, where it was later recovered. The incident prompted a comprehensive investigation, leading to enhanced warning systems along flood-prone waterways. The Trinity River tragedy would not be an isolated incident. Just over a year later, thousands of miles away in South Africa, Wildlife Park Maintenance Supervisor Mindy Gantz would find herself working alone in a facility housing some of Africa's most powerful predators, where even the most experienced professionals can find themselves in mortal danger. It was September 2nd, 2016, when a wildlife park in Limpopo Province, South Africa, became the scene of a fatal encounter. The private facility housed several species of African predators in large enclosures connected by service corridors used for maintenance and feeding operations. The early morning air was crisp, and the animals were displaying heightened activity levels as feeding time approached. The park's layout included multiple security gates and barriers designed to separate staff from the dangerous animals during routine operations. However, recent equipment malfunctions combined with manual overrides had created dangerous safety vulnerabilities that required immediate attention before public hours began. The facility had experienced several minor incidents in recent months, raising concerns about aging infrastructure and failing alarm systems. Mindy Gantz, a 34-year-old wildlife park maintenance supervisor, had worked at the facility for over 6 years. Known among her colleagues for taking procedural shortcuts to save time, Gantz was experienced in handling the complex gate systems and security protocols. She had been called in early that morning to inspect a faulty service gate that provided access to one of the lion holding areas. Her reputation for efficiency often came at the cost of following complete safety procedures, a habit that had been noted in previous performance reviews but never formally addressed. Gantz had successfully completed hundreds of similar maintenance tasks without incident, creating a false sense of security about the risks involved. The lions had experienced delayed feeding the previous day, lowering their tolerance to intrusion and increasing food-driven responsiveness. Gantz was aware of the feeding schedule disruption, but felt confident in her ability to quickly assess and repair the malfunctioning gate mechanism. The animals had been pacing restlessly throughout the night, displaying clear signs of hunger-driven aggression. The service corridor she entered was equipped with fixed security cameras that recorded all maintenance activities. The area was designed with multiple fail-safe systems, including primary and secondary gates, that were supposed to ensure complete separation between staff and animals during inspections. Lions are apex predators perfectly evolved for cooperative hunting and overwhelming prey through coordinated attacks. Adult lions possess incredible strength, with males weighing up to 420 pounds and capable of generating bite forces estimated between 600 and 650 pounds per square inch. Their powerful limbs can deliver devastating blows, while their retractable claws can inflict deep lacerations. When hunting as a group, lions employ sophisticated tactics, where one animal typically secures the prey, while others assist in the kill. Their natural instinct is to target the neck and throat area, using their powerful jaws to clamp down on vital structures and induce asphyxiation. The sustained pressure from a throat bite restricts airflow and blood circulation to the brain, leading to rapid unconsciousness and death. Gantz made a critical error by entering the restricted corridor alone without following proper verification procedures. She failed to ensure that the secondary gate was fully engaged and locked, assuming the malfunctioning primary gate would provide adequate protection. Investigators later determined that disabled warning indicators and a compromised alarm system had created a cascading failure in the safety protocols. As she examined the gate mechanism, 2 adult lions managed to enter the service corridor through the compromised secondary barrier. The animals advanced through the corridor while constant machinery noise likely masked the sound of their approach. Their hunger-driven state made them more opportunistic and aggressive than usual. The first lion struck without warning, using its massive paw to knock Gantz to the concrete floor. The impact was devastating, sending her sprawling and immediately compromising her ability to escape. Before she could recover, the second lion moved in to secure her upper body. According to the incident report based on security footage analysis, the combined weight of both animals overwhelmed any possibility of resistance. The lions positioned themselves to prevent escape, with one animal delivering what appeared to be a sustained bite to the neck area, the typical killing method employed by lions to induce asphyxiation through jaw pressure on the throat and windpipe. The attack continued as the lions maintained their hold. While the animal's claws inflicted multiple wounds, the fatal mechanism was consistent with asphyxiation, resulting from the sustained bite pressure to the neck region. Movement ceased within minutes as respiratory failure proved fatal. The lions remained with the body until park staff discovered the scene during routine morning checks. The incident triggered an immediate investigation by wildlife authorities, resulting in enhanced safety protocols and mandatory buddy system requirements for all maintenance operations. The park faced significant legal challenges and was temporarily closed pending safety improvements. Gantz's family filed wrongful death lawsuits citing inadequate safety measures and poor equipment maintenance. The case highlighted the ongoing risks faced by wildlife facility workers and led to industry-wide safety reforms. While Gantz had fallen victim to terrestrial predators in a controlled environment, the ocean presented its own deadly challenges. Months later, dive videographer Roscoe Vulp found himself in murky waters, where one of the ocean's most feared predators prowled during peak migration season. It was August 11th, 2017, when the near-shore reef waters off Umkomaas, South Africa, became the site of a deadly encounter. The coastal area was experiencing the aftermath of heavy runoff from recent storms, creating murky conditions that reduced underwater visibility to less than 5 feet. The churning waters carried sediment and debris from inland rivers, transforming the normally clear diving environment into a challenging and dangerous setting. The reef system near Umkomaas was known for its diverse marine life, but the recent weather patterns had disrupted normal feeding behaviors and migration routes. Local dive operators had reported increased shark activity in the area, with several species moving closer to shore following baitfish populations displaced by the storms. Roscoe Vulp, a 28-year-old dive tourism videographer, specialized in capturing close-range footage of marine wildlife for documentary productions. Known for his willingness to film in challenging conditions that other divers avoided, Vulp had built a reputation for obtaining dramatic underwater footage. He had arrived at Umkomaas specifically to document how the recent environmental changes were affecting local shark populations. Vulp was part of a small dive group that morning, each equipped with helmet-mounted cameras to record their underwater experience. The group had been briefed about the reduced visibility conditions, but decided to proceed with the dive despite the challenging circumstances. Recent reports of bull shark migration activity in the area had attracted Vulp's professional interest. As the dive progressed, Vulp gradually separated from the main group, drawn by what appeared to be interesting marine activity in a slightly deeper section of the reef. His helmet camera continued recording as he descended several yards below his companions, who remained closer to the surface in better visibility conditions. Bull sharks are among the ocean's most formidable and unpredictable predators, capable of thriving in both saltwater and freshwater environments. These powerful animals can reach lengths of 11 feet and weights exceeding 500 pounds, with bite forces that rank among the strongest of all shark species. Their broad, muscular build and aggressive temperament make them particularly dangerous to humans. Unlike many shark species that prefer deeper waters, bull sharks frequently hunt in shallow, murky environments where their prey has limited visibility and escape options. They are opportunistic feeders with an extremely varied diet, and their highly assertive nature makes them more likely to investigate perceived prey when encountering unfamiliar movements in their hunting grounds. Bull sharks possess exceptional sensory capabilities, including the ability to detect electrical fields generated by living creatures and minute vibrations in the water. Their hunting strategy often involves approaching from below or behind, using surprise to overwhelm their prey before it can react. Volpe made a critical error by separating from his dive group in conditions of severely limited visibility. The murky water that had attracted him for filming purposes also provided perfect cover for predatory ambush attacks. His isolated position made him vulnerable to predators that might avoid larger groups of divers. The bull shark approached from below, using the poor visibility and Volpe's downward focus to remain undetected until the moment of attack. The initial strike targeted his lower torso with devastating force, the shark's powerful jaws clamping down and causing immediate massive trauma. The bite inflicted catastrophic injuries to soft tissue, muscles, and internal organs, with major blood vessels torn in the process. The impact caused Volpe to lose buoyancy control and orientation underwater. The expanding cloud of blood signaled significant trauma. Whether driven by continued feeding behavior or biological response to blood in the water, the shark pressed the attack, rather than releasing and retreating as these predators sometimes do. The second bite struck the upper leg and pelvic region, compounding the already severe injuries. The trauma resulted in rapid and uncontrolled blood loss, as multiple vessels were compromised. The combination of shock, blood loss, and physical damage rapidly undermined Volpe's ability to maintain control of his breathing apparatus. As consciousness faded, seawater began entering his respiratory system. The catastrophic injuries, combined with loss of airway control and continued blood loss, led to death within minutes. Volpe's body sank toward the reef floor as the shark moved away. His helmet camera continued recording until the housing eventually flooded. The other divers discovered Volpe's body during an immediate search operation after realizing he had become separated from the group. Emergency response teams recovered the body and the damaged camera equipment, which provided crucial evidence about the attack sequence. The incident prompted a comprehensive investigation by authorities, leading to temporary diving restrictions in the area during periods of poor visibility. Local dive operators implemented enhanced safety protocols, requiring closer group supervision and improved communication systems. Volpe's family established a foundation promoting diving safety education, emphasizing the importance of maintaining group cohesion during challenging underwater conditions. While Volpe had encountered danger in the ocean's depths, terrestrial environments posed equally deadly threats. Months later, landscape photographer Thea Jinks ventured into remote backcountry, where one of North America's most powerful predators roamed during its most active season. It was May 29, 2018, when the remote backcountry of Glacier National Park in Montana became the scene of a fatal encounter. The wilderness area was experiencing peak spring activity, with snow melting rapidly from higher elevations and creating ideal conditions for wildlife movement. Dense brush and thick forest coverage limited visibility along the narrow hiking trails. Trail 14 had been officially closed to public access due to increased grizzly bear activity reported throughout the previous week. Park rangers had documented multiple sightings of bears with cubs in the area, along with evidence of recent feeding activity near popular hiking routes. Warning signs had been posted at all trail access points. The spring season brought heightened bear activity as animals emerged from winter hibernation in search of food sources. Early morning hours were particularly dangerous, as bears were most active during dawn feeding periods when they sought to replenish energy reserves depleted during the long winter months. Thea Jinks, a 36-year-old landscape photographer, had traveled to Glacier National Park to capture images of the spring wildflower bloom in the high country. Known for her willingness to venture into restricted areas to obtain unique shots, Jinks had a reputation for taking calculated risks to access pristine locations that other photographers avoided. She had arrived at the park specifically to photograph the seasonal transition in the backcountry, aware that the melting snow and emerging vegetation created spectacular but brief photographic opportunities. Jinx was traveling alone that morning, equipped with a chest-mounted camera to document her hiking experience, along with her professional photography equipment. She had deliberately chosen to hike during the early morning hours to capture optimal lighting conditions, despite knowing that this timing coincided with peak wildlife activity periods. Grizzly bears are among North America's most powerful large mammals, capable of reaching speeds of 35 miles per hour and possessing strength that can easily overpower humans. Adult males can weigh over 800 pounds and stand nearly 4 feet tall at the shoulder, with claws measuring up to 4 inches in length. During spring months, grizzly bears are particularly aggressive as they establish territories and protect food sources after emerging from hibernation. Mothers with cubs display extreme defensive behavior and will attack any perceived threat to their offspring without warning. Their exceptional hearing and sense of smell make them aware of human presence long before visual contact occurs. Grizzly bears typically avoid human contact, but surprise encounters at close range often trigger defensive attacks. Attacks on humans most often occur as defensive responses rather than predatory behavior. Their natural response to perceived threats involves overwhelming force designed to neutralize danger quickly and decisively. Jinx made a fatal error by hiking alone on a closed trail during peak bear activity hours. Her quiet movement through dense brush eliminated any opportunity for bears to detect and avoid her presence. The lack of noise deterrents or bear spray further compromised her safety in an environment with confirmed aggressive bear activity. The encounter occurred suddenly as Jinx rounded a bend in the trail, where thick vegetation limited visibility to just a few yards. A large grizzly bear emerged from the brush at extremely close range, likely as surprised by the encounter as Jinx herself. The sudden close-range encounter triggered a defensive charge. The animal covered the short distance between them in seconds, striking Jinx with devastating force that knocked her to the ground instantly. The initial impact alone caused severe trauma, as the bear's massive weight and momentum overwhelmed her completely. The bear delivered an explosive series of strikes, using its powerful claws and crushing bite force. Each blow inflicted massive internal injuries and bone fractures, while the animal's weight prevented any possibility of escape or defense. The assault was brief but catastrophic, typical of defensive grizzly encounters. The attack caused catastrophic damage to vital organs and major blood vessels. The bear's claws created deep lacerations across Jinx's torso and limbs, while the crushing force of its strikes caused severe internal bleeding and organ failure. The chest-mounted camera was damaged during the encounter, though the device provided investigators with some information about the final moments before the attack. Death resulted from the combination of massive blunt force trauma, internal bleeding, and organ failure within minutes of the initial contact. Park rangers discovered Jinx's body during a routine patrol of the closed trail area later that day. The scene and physical evidence provided crucial information about the circumstances of the encounter and the bear's defensive behavior during the attack. The incident prompted a comprehensive review of trail closure enforcement procedures and led to enhanced warning systems throughout Glacier National Park. Jinx's family filed wrongful death claims, though investigations ultimately determined that proper warnings had been posted and the trail closure had been clearly marked. And while Jinx had fallen victim to a wild animal in its natural habitat, another would prove that even captivity can't eliminate the risk when humans underestimate the power of apex predators. It was November 6, 2015, when a private wildlife compound housing illegally imported chimpanzees in Kalimantan, Indonesia, became the scene of a deadly encounter. The remote facility housed various exotic species in large enclosures designed to simulate natural habitats. The tropical climate created dense vegetation and high humidity, while the isolated location meant that emergency response would be severely delayed in case of any incident. The compound operated as both a breeding facility and import staging area for exotic animals destined for private collections and zoos worldwide. Recent changes in the facility's management had created stress among the animals, particularly the primates, who were highly sensitive to disruptions in their social hierarchy and daily routines. The chimpanzee enclosure had experienced significant upheaval in recent weeks as the group underwent a natural reorganization of their social structure. Alpha males had been challenging each other for dominance, creating heightened tension and aggressive behavior throughout the entire troop. The animals displayed increased territorial instincts and reduced tolerance for human presence. Quad Riker, a 39-year-old exotic animal importer, had built his business on direct handling techniques and dominance displays that he believed established his authority over dangerous animals. Known for entering enclosures without protective barriers, Riker had successfully managed similar situations in the past, creating confidence in his ability to control potentially dangerous encounters. He had arrived at the Indonesian facility to inspect recently acquired chimpanzees before arranging their transport to international buyers. The animals represented a significant financial investment, and Riker wanted to personally assess their health and behavior before completing the transaction. Riker's approach to animal management emphasized direct confrontation and physical dominance, techniques that had worked with other species but were particularly risky when applied to highly intelligent and socially complex primates. The morning inspection was routine for Riker, who entered the enclosure carrying only his handheld phone, filming the entire situation. Chimpanzees are among the most intelligent and physically powerful primates, possessing strength estimated at 1.5 to 2 times that of an adult human, combined with extreme grip power. Their muscular build, combined with long arms and opposable thumbs, makes them capable of inflicting devastating injuries through coordinated attacks. In their natural social structure, chimpanzees establish dominance through displays of aggression and physical confrontation. When their hierarchy is disrupted, they become unpredictable and may view human intrusion as a territorial challenge, requiring immediate and violent response. Riker made a critical error by entering the enclosure alone during a period of heightened social tension among the chimpanzees. His dominance-based approach, which involved direct eye contact and aggressive posturing, was interpreted by the animals as a challenge to their already unstable hierarchy. The attack began when 2 adult chimpanzees approached Riker simultaneously from different directions. Their coordinated movement reflected instinctive group aggression, triggered by social instability. The animals moved with surprising speed and purpose, eliminating any opportunity for escape. The first chimpanzee seized Riker's left arm, while the second grabbed his right leg, immediately pulling him off balance and to the ground, releasing his phone to the ground, still recording. The coordinated assault prevented him from defending himself or reaching any potential escape route. Once Riker was immobilized, additional members of the troop joined the assault. The animals began inflicting systematic damage using their powerful hands and teeth, causing severe trauma to the face, limbs, and torso. Their crushing grip strength and sharp teeth created catastrophic tissue damage that prevented any possibility of resistance. The violent encounter lasted approximately 90 seconds before the chimpanzees disengaged. Recognizing that Riker no longer posed a threat to their social order, the animals retreated to the far side of the enclosure, their aggressive response having neutralized the perceived challenge. The combination of massive blood loss from multiple deep wounds, crushing injuries to vital organs, and shock from the sustained trauma proved fatal. The chimpanzee's coordinated assault overwhelmed Riker's ability to survive the extensive physical damage. Riker's phone was found several meters from his body, knocked away during the initial moments of the encounter. Investigators examined the device for potential evidence to understand the attack sequence and the animal's behavior patterns. The footage was kept from the public's eye due to the volume of graphic it contained. Facility staff discovered Riker's body when he failed to report for a scheduled meeting later that morning. The chimpanzees remained highly agitated and defensive throughout the afternoon, displaying continued signs of stress and territorial behavior. Staff monitored the enclosure remotely for several hours before conditions allowed safe entry to recover Riker's remains. Indonesian authorities launched an investigation into safety protocols at exotic animal facilities, leading to enhanced regulations requiring protective barriers during all human-animal interactions. The incident highlighted the inadequate safety measures at many private wildlife compounds. Riker's family filed lawsuits against the facility operators, citing negligent safety practices and inadequate emergency procedures. The case resulted in the facility's shutdown and stricter regional enforcement of exotic animal handling regulations. Thanks for watching. Want to see more? Click on your screen now.